Alright, hey guys, it's Narrative Tarot. I'm here for Gemini, Virgo reading. Happy 2022, Happy New Year. So we are out of 2021 and we are in 2022. So yeah, happy for that. And then, I don't know where this is. That. So this is for I was gonna say Libra, Gemini, and Virgo, or Mercury, and I read primarily by planet, and that's why that Mercury is tacked in there, and those are the two signs that are ruled by Mercury. At least if you're in the Western astrology system. I'm Narrative Tarot. Yeah, if you are interested in this reading, definitely subscribe. I will finish these monthlies and then I'll go ahead and announce everything that's kind of new and fresh in 2022. But yeah, go from there. So generally for this reading, I do kind of like two parts. And it's not like one part is love, one part is business, one part is health or something like that. It's just, it tends to follow that. I use two decks, and so the reading kind of becomes like part one, part two. And generally they overlap or whatever. But you know. So for the first deck, I'm using the Hermetic Tarot. And then the second deck, I'll be using OK Tarot. Yeah, for some reason this deck is like, ooh, okay, alright. I don't know why, I think I said this, I said plastic surgery will be like really interesting this upcoming year. I don't really like taking reversals. This comes in reverse 3 of Wands, but that's what it looks like upright. You have the Princess of Cups, and then under that is the Foolish Man. And then you have 7 of Wands, Knight of Swords, Empress, and Death. And then 10 of Pentacles and Strength. I'm gonna open up the back door for a sec. Hold on. Okay, I opened up the door because I was listening to music and I was getting really into it and stuff like that, and so my head ended up being like kind of weird when I started reading. Typical. The reason why I say things like plastic surgery is just the Princess of Cups, and it's kind of like some nudity there. So that's what it looks like. So if you're gonna do that, just make sure you know the times of year, and you follow astrology. Make sure you know the times of year where it's best and then not like favorable, you know, to do it. I know like you can't really schedule your surgeries around before it, but you could make more advantageous, I guess, consultations if you know that. If you do end up getting a doctor or having to go to the doctor, you might find that this doctor is more into a cult than you realized, and it may freak you out with this like death. There could be something unsettling. Oh, wow. This is like, I don't know if this is linked. Okay. Make sure. Okay, let's tell you why this is maybe linked. So I had a dream a few nights ago about a really like weird doctor. And I don't know what it is about the doctor, but it was something like they said something to me and I felt uncomfortable, and I went to another doctor and it felt like I was like being followed in that dream by that doctor. It switched to another scene, but it just felt really weird and creepy. And I talked to another doctor and they were just talking about like he's always like that and stuff like that. It was just kind of strange. So if you go to a doctor and you don't feel comfortable with them, then I would say try and find someone else. There's South Node is in Scorpio, which to me is not necessarily related to the medical system, but anything dealing with like power struggles and shit like that, and particularly like I want to say on the very, very negative end, like extreme or just paranoia in general of like power moves that are being played that may not be like fully expressed like out in the open, saying like I'm better than you, but like there's subtle moves across the like chessboard that ping off of you, and you become really paranoid about where they're coming from and who they're coming from, and then the questioning of motives becomes a thing and stuff like that. So I would say if something makes you feel uncomfortable, like truly uncomfortable to where you don't feel safe, then I would say speak up about it and then see if you can get something changed. But if it's something where like this is like a year where like you might have to know what the isms are with regards to people, like what the isms are. So like it is racism, classism, feminism, whatever. Like you might need to know what those isms are with regards to your healthcare provider. You might want to know how those topics intersect when it comes to your health, how classism affects your health, how racism affects your health, how feminism affects your health, how I don't know how to say disabilityism, like how whatever influences your health, jeopardizes your health, what you do gain and don't gain through that. Spend time with people as often as you can. Summertime, maybe you're really transformative. Period. I don't know what's happening with this Pluto Leo axis, like right here. But it may be some sort of transformation that happens through going out in the sun. You may get invited a lot during the summertime to go to the water. Pay attention to how heavy the waves are crashing and stuff like that. Make sure you're not running away from love through your career, or really just love as a like you love yourself, or prioritizing yourself or something like that through your career. Finding a good meditation pose. I don't know why, but looking at this Empress with this creature at the bottom, finding a good meditation pose might be helpful. In your dreams, you could have a lot of aquatic travels. A lot of aquatic animals, creatures could be trying to talk to you. Particularly ones that have some sort of protective mechanism to keep them safe from most predators. So I guess that would be something like a jellyfish, or, well, a jellyfish still gets eaten, right? Well, to us, they can, like, what? Let's guess. Probably something like a jellyfish, or something that has, like, really bright colors, or whose skin is, like, tossed, or something like that. You may need to learn about blood. Getting blood testing. You might find something through that. I'm not a medical doctor, so I'm not giving you medical advice. But if you do feel like you need to get that done, go ahead and do it. There may be, I have a book upstairs. It's called Know Your Blood, Know Your Life, I think. You may want to purchase that and read about it. With this Nine of Swords, there may be a lot of, in my mind, the words tire screeching is happening, which lets me know that I need to get my tires together. But there may be a lot of stopping and starting, and that could cause a lot of anxiety. With this card also, getting in the car with the wrong people can be anxiety inducing. So be careful with that. Some of you guys are getting your licenses or learning to drive, and that's a great thing. Just be wary of going to places that you're unfamiliar with when you just get your license or you just learn to drive. Make sure your phone is charged fully, or, you know, close to it, just in case of emergencies. So in my mind, I'm hearing January will be a month of a lot of experiences where you have to learn to rely on people, and that may not be comfortable for a Gemini or a Virgo. Something that's yours might get taken, so be wary of that. With this card, the Foolish Man, I'm getting like things like friendships and stuff like that. Be wary of some of those friendships that you know are toxic and shouldn't. And maybe the aquatic animals will be trying to show you that your relationships aren't stable or something. They'll be trying to show you something. So if you have a dream where, like, you're prey and something, or like you're with a group of animals and suddenly you're alone, when, like, you know, say you're a fish, a small fish, and you're with a school of fish, and then once larger fish or sharks or whatever come through, like, suddenly you're alone, or you feel like, or you get swallowed whole or something like that. It's a lot of fear that might be coming up in January and beyond, really. Could be with the Ten of Pentacles, fear around success, but I don't really feel like that's too much. There's a lot of fear around danger, so what I'm going to say is You may have had experiences where danger has been very present for you for a really long time. If not danger, then the threat of like some sort of disaster, whether it be financial or emotional, and that's coming up. 2022, the North Node goes into Taurus, and so the South Node is in Scorpio. I'm like gonna open us a can of like soda, whatever. And so your psyche is coming out in 2022 for however evolved or devolved or in flux it is, or stagnant it is, or stuck it is coming out. And so those fears will be coming out. Let's see, I'm going to do this. You have the Ace of Wands and the Six of Cups. So it might be a lot of crying happening. You might have a burst of energy once you cry and let things out. Your tears may run really, really hot. Down here looks like kidneys. So kidney health may be really important to you guys. Make sure you drink enough water with the Six of Wands, Six of Cups, and Ace of Wands, particularly if you're going somewhere that's really hot, or if you live somewhere that's really hot. Maybe get a water purifier. And that could be something, if back to the blood thing, that's tying in with the blood. Maybe avoid spicy foods for a while as well. Okay, let's go to the second part with the okay. With okay tarot. So this is what it looks like. It's pretty minimalist. So if you ever wanted to like learn with it, then it's pretty minimalist. And I think if you like Marseille, you might like this a little bit as well. It's, I mean, the way it's designed, it looks like it's more open to interpretation, but I'm more intuitive with tarot anyway. Like, I don't think anything I've said is related to the actual meaning of the cards. It's just what I'm picking up. I have the Queen of Cups, Page of Swords, Page of Pentacles, and the Devil on the bottom of the deck. Could be sleeping with the enemy. Be careful about like STDs and stuff like that as well. Be careful about that. Be careful that like you're in a relationship with somebody who's in a relationship with you. Be sure that they're not divorcing, that they're divorced. Make sure that they don't get overly, I was going to say overly ambitious, that's not right, overly defensive about basic things if it's a relationship. Make sure that your correspondence is pretty consistent, because that'll also let you know whether or not they're dealing with stuff. Like, unless they have a really, you know, like they're consistent and then they fall off because they have like a big caseload of work to do, or they're out of town or something like that. That's a different thing than you're supposed to be in a relationship where you're supposed to be dating and you hear from them when you hear from them, you know? So just make sure that your correspondences are consistent. Verify excuses such as their phone was stolen or it was hacked or something like that. Cups. If this person leaves you sitting by the bar by yourself more than once, it may be time to question whether or not they are really interested in being around you. Magician, they always have an excuse. They're magically never there. Or they just show up randomly. Four of Wands. I would say advice would be not to try and make them jealous, not to try and get other people, but there are other suitors around, it seems like, that could want to vie for your attention. There could be one in particular that really doesn't like the way that this person gets down, and so they're going to offer you some advice. Yeah, they're going to offer you some advice or some sort of comfort. Just make sure that they're also clear, as in it seems like they could be getting over something themselves. And it's not like there's a, with this Four of Swords, it could be a getting back at somebody else, but it could be the knife hasn't gotten out of their back yet. So if you're interested in dating somebody, make sure that they don't, with the Seven of Swords, make sure that you don't have trust issues as well. The King of Cups reverse. Make sure that everybody here is open to receive love. You got the Hierophant. And the Ace of Swords. Make sure things are just ended and over with and done before you move forward. That there are final endings and things like that. And that judgment call, everything was understood by everyone. You got the Ten of Wands. Because if it's not, then it's still ongoing. Like I said, make sure they say they're divorced. Everything is split up. The alimony's settled. The relationship between parents on how to co-parent is established. It's not in the works because that will take up their time. It's almost like you want to slide in when there's space for you and not when someone is still trying to make space for themselves in their life and their work, and now they got to make space for and shift around their life because there's a child involved and you got to coordinate daycare and they don't live in this state, and summers are spent here and they go back to school and live with their other parent and some of like other shit that like, it's not being selfish, it's just you don't want somebody going through a divorce and they're in year 1 of 2 of that and you come there and but the relationship is failing because they don't really have time for you one-on-one. There's always a third person involved, or 4 or 5 or 6 depending on how, you know, how drawn out and how many people get involved in this. So that is all. We got the Two of Pentacles. Make sure things are evenly exchanged and make sure that if this is for you, that you can give what you can give and that you're not preoccupied. So I hope you enjoyed this reading, Virgo, Gemini, and yeah, I'll talk to you guys later. Bye.